All right, we are ready to roll. It's a roll call. Let's see who's coming in. Someone's trying to come in. Okay. All right, so we're just completing where we started, state board prep, infection control, and skin analysis. For I think all of you guys were on. We created a 50 question study guide, I believe. Yeah, 50 question study guide. And we stopped. Anybody know where we stopped?
I believe we stopped at number 3 or 4.
Okay, let's check it out. Mm, let's pick up at 4 and we will break it on down. Okay, so in studying for any exam, especially state board, if you feel like it's a lot of questions or this is just a great tip, read the questions. It will be good to read the questions and then go back and make an answer. But I think you're on the computer, right? So it gives you one at a time. So definitely make sure you read the answers and the question thoroughly. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I know what it's asking, and then you go ahead and pick what you think it is, and it's wrong because there may have been one or two things that was off. All right. So let's look at number 4. Let's see. And number 4 says prevention of the spread of infections begins and ends with, yeah, we did this one. So we'll pick back up with, is it infectious materials, doctors, you, or client? Okay. So number 4, we went over this one, is you. All right. As the professional, it's going to begin and end with you. And so we do our pre-cleaning and then we do our cleaning post service. Number 5, which of the following is true of pathogens? Well, we have to learn first, when you see these words, know what a pathogen is. Okay. It is a bacteria. All right. But it is a good bacteria or a bad bacteria. That's for you to understand. Number 5, which of the following is true of pathogens? A, they all reside in the same places but infect humans in different ways. B, they reside in different places but all affect humans in exactly the same way. C, they all reside in the same places and infect humans in exactly the same way. Or D, they all reside in different places and affect humans in different ways. All right. So if we was to look at this question number 5, which of the following is true of pathogens? Replace pathogens with bacteria, germs. Which of the following is true of germs? Is it A, B, C, or D? What do y'all think? The thinking question. Now, the same bacteria that I can have on my hand and Amber can have the same bacteria on her hand, it is going to affect us differently, y'all. Okay. And so, number 5 is going to be D. They all reside in different places and affect humans different ways. All right. If you had not tapped in for roll call, please make sure you tap in. Number 6, Which of the following best defines transmission? And I think we may have referenced this to transmission from one person to another. All right. Number 6, we went over this one, is B, the process of which pathogens move between individuals. Okay. Transmission could be associated with the word move, transfer, or transfer. Number 7, indirect transmission of a disease. All right. So direct transmission of a disease is shaking your hand. So it's going from person to person. Indirect is going to mean I've touched an object or I've sneezed in the room without covering my mouth. Okay. And then you come in and breathe that same air, right? And then you move from there. If you touch the object after I touch the object, that's indirect transmission. Okay. Number 7 is C, happens through contact with an intermediate object, which means it's in between. Okay. In between. 7 is C. Number 8, when it comes to the spread of infectious disease, beauty professionals must be prepared to deal with all except which type of potentially harmful organisms. Okay. And that is A, bacteria, B, viruses, C, gases, or D, parasites. Okay. Which, when it comes to the spread of an infectious disease, beauty professionals must be prepared to deal with all except, okay, which type of potentially harmful organism. We talk a lot about bacteria, viruses. Do we talk a lot about gases? Go to the chat. Do we talk about parasites? We definitely have the text to prove that. Number 8 is going to be C. It's going to be except. We don't learn a lot about the gases as a beauty professional. Even though it is harmful, we don't, that's something that we don't learn about. So 8 is C. All right. I want you guys to look at number 9. I'm going to respond back to somebody trying to get in. Okay. Number 9. When doctors have determined the nature of a disease, they have blank, contained it, contaminated it, decontaminated it, or diagnosed it. They diagnosed it. Number 9. Okay. When doctors have determined the nature of a disease, they have diagnosed it. Okay. Number 10. Which of the following is not caused by a virus? Not caused by a virus. Okay. Is it strep throat, HIV, rabies, or influenza? Okay. Somebody can, you guys can, if you know the answer, you can unmute at any time. Not caused by a virus.
Strep throat.
You're correct. Strep throat is caused by the cocci bacteria. Okay. Streptococci bacteria. So number 10 is A. Number 11. Which of the following is true of the process of disinfection? Okay. It eliminates no microorganisms. It eliminates a small number of microorganisms. It eliminates most microorganisms, or it eliminates all microorganisms. Okay. Disinfection. Okay. It is stronger than cleaning. It is stronger than sanitation. It is not stronger than sterilization. Okay.
It eliminates most.
Yes. Number 11 is C. Okay. Number 12, you're correct, but number 11. If there is no time specified or recommended by the manufacturer of the disinfectant, for how long must a tool be left fully submerged in the disinfectant? We're talking about a wet sanitizer, a jar with the solution in it. Okay. So number 12, is it 10 seconds, 10 minutes, 1 hour, or 10 hours? So basically, let me tell you this. What's the maximum time allowed that for your dirty tools to set in the wet sanitizer, the wet disinfectant solution? It is going to be 10 minutes. Okay. I know sometimes you go to barbershops and salons and they have their stuff in there all day or overnight, been in there 2-3 days. That is not how it's supposed to be. You only get up to 10 minutes. Okay. 13. Tuberculosis is transmitted through which of the following means? Inhalation, close contact with an infected person, direct transmission into the bloodstream, touching an infected object. Okay. Tuberculosis was one of those things. Personal service workers, we used in Shelby County, we used to have personal service workers, our doctors, nurses, hairdressers, manicurists, so on and so on. People that deal with people. Memphis had this thing about yellow fever, and Tumley Park, that used to be like a port, like, so when they used to come into Memphis, they would come in from the river, and before they would go into the city, they would have to be tested for the yellow fever, whole doctor workup. And for those individuals that did have yellow fever, tuberculosis, things of that nature, they had to stay on Tumley Park. They could not go freely into the city. After set amount of time, then they were released to go, do what they had to do once they were found out that they didn't have any diseases or anything of that nature. The personal service workers up until like the 60s had to have a shot. We were supposed to have a shot, and that was a tuberculosis shot. Okay. Just because it's just like with influenza, but it's just like with any other vaccine. It was because we were in front of people, we touched people, we breathed the same air that they were breathing. Then a lot of us got sick, personal service workers, and it stemmed from major migration to when the city was being built and people were flooding in, and they would come from different places with a whole lot of different, infections, diseases, viruses, things of that nature. So if you ever look at Memphis history or any place history, you'll find that it was a big thing for personal service workers to have so many vaccines. I have a friend going over to Africa next month for a mission, and he said, I did not know that the shots cost so much. And so he said, man, his shots were like $700, but he has to have them because he's coming from one country over into another, and he don't want to bring anything back, anything harmful to them. But of course, he don't want to bring anything back as well. So he had to have some immunizations as well. And another young lady that's going on the mission trip, her shots were $1,000. And so most of the time, these parameters are in place to protect us. All right. But personal service workers no longer have to have those vaccines. I think as you go to college and move to high school, you have to have certain vaccines. But I think if you say the term vaccine in any capacity within the last 5 or 6 years, people will go back to COVID, the pandemic. Okay, so they're very controversial, very controversial about shots, vaccines, and things of that nature. But 13 is A. Okay, You were in direct community, you were in direct airspace with, so you inhaled it. 13 was A. 14, which of the following is true? Phenolic disinfectants. Whenever you see phenol, okay, phenolic, that is a toxin, okay? It is a toxin. It's a harsh disinfectant. And so 14, which of the following is true of phenol disinfectants? 14 is going to be C. They are known as carcinogens. Can anybody tell me what's been in the news lately about beauty products and carcinogens? Anybody keeping up?
Cancer.
Yes, cancer. And y'all, it's in, now they found it in braiding hair, but also in hair products, also in relaxers. And let me tell you, a lot of stuff that we use, beauty products, especially if you are buying things overseas, they don't have the same regulations that we have or had. You know, our president signed stuff away, so I don't know. But we have those parameters set in place. And so when you have people that say they get a lot of stuff from third parties like AliExpress, Alibaba, and products that you put on your face or things that you put on your hair, bundles, wigs, braiding hair, a lot of times, and it's, we're all the same that's on here. Remember, Black and brown people are set to be the customer. We're set to be the consumer. And so we purchase majority of all of our things, not from US, but from overseas. And so how they make it, a lot of times they may have products and ingredients that are cheaper, not really a lot of oversight over. That's why we get it cheaper, or think we're getting it cheaper, and we bring it back over. But come to find out, a lot of our beauty products, a lot of our hair products, a lot of our hair sprays, braiding hair, bundles, things of that nature, have cancer causing particles. I'm not a theorist. I'm not a scientist. I love to read. I love to research, but you know, sometimes I think the natural girls got it right. The natural girls got it right in some cases. And then you have to know about your products and ingredients. It's something we preach all the time. So now I think we need to get deeper into those products and ingredients. But yeah, phenol disinfectants have cancer causing particles, all right? Carcinogens. Now, what does that look like? Sometimes phenols can be powdered tablets. Think about sometimes we could clean the toilet and there's these little bleach tablets or these little tablets. If you know anybody that's been licensed in Tennessee more than 20, 25 years, we used to have to go to state board, bring our kits, but we used to have these little tablets in the kits, right? And they were formaldehyde tablets. So you had to keep that in the kit and you had to keep it open and in the kit. And those tablets would pretty much kill bacteria. Well, Tennessee State Board has stopped us from using that because formaldehyde is also linked to cancer. Okay, so just stay woke when it comes to products and ingredients and things that affect your livelihood. With you guys, mostly skincare. Your clients, though, when you think about your clients, how many of them wear braids? How many of them wear extensions? How many of them, purchase products from overseas? So it's good to have the information so you can communicate to them as well. And then as you go to trade shows, you'll look for products and ingredients that don't have these particles or not associated with these. This is why some companies say they're clean or all green, organic. This is why sometimes people flood towards our natural products. 15, which of the following is true of chloride bleach? Okay. Chloride bleach. 15 is C. It is an effective disinfectant. All right. I'm going to tell you, if you're going for state board to open up your suite and to open up your school or salon, anything, the state board inspectors are going to say, please do not use bleach. Okay. Not that you can't use bleach, but sometimes the bleach is overwhelming. The smell is overwhelming, and it may cause, because you don't know who's sitting in your business. They may have asthma or something. It can cause flare-ups. Okay. Also, make sure you read directions on what to use the bleach with, because mixing the bleach with things like ammonia, disinfectants like ammonia, even pine sol, fabuloso, whatever you want to mix it with, mixing with bleach, and then the ratios not being balanced, the water not being balanced. Those two disinfectants, anything mixed with the bleach, it can cause, let's say, ammonia mixed with bleach. Once those two come together, they create a gas, and that gas, we start to inhale it in. Our lungs pretty much says, stop. We can't do that. And it starts protecting us. Everything in our neck area starts protecting us, and it starts to shut down because it doesn't want that gas to go down. And this is where a lot of times we get sick, okay, and we fall out. And then when the people come find us, we almost near death because we just cleaning and mixing stuff that don't go together, cause the gas, and the gas causes us to fall out, become ill. Sometimes we can't breathe, and it just traps, it gives us a huge struggle that we don't need. And so if you have a business and you have to train people on what to do, make sure you tell them, if you're going to use bleach, you're not going to mix it with anything else, or you should pre-mix it and make sure that it's labeled, or use something that's close to bleach that gives you that cleansing satisfaction, but it's not as harmful as the bleach. So that was 15. Let's look at 16. Soaps and other products that do not have the word disinfectant on the label are merely cleaners, toxic, useless, or sterilizers. Okay. Number 16. Soaps and other products that do not have the word disinfectant on the label are cleansers. All right. So 16 is A. 17. OSHA defines PPE as A, specialized clothing or equipment worn by an employee for protection against a hazard. B, guidelines that require the employee to assume that any human blood is potentially infectious. C, precautions that include proper hand washing and wearing of gloves around certain chemicals. And D, items that should be cleaned and disinfected using any of the EPA registered disinfectants. Number 17 is A. Okay. PPE is the clothing. Okay. It's the disposable jacket, the gloves, the mask, everything that we bought during the pandemic that was supposed to protect us from the virus. Okay. That's PPE. Once you use that, ain't nobody else using it. It's disposable. Okay. Single use. 18. How often should one change gloves? A, after every single use. Okay. Every single use. We're not holding on to gloves, just like we're not holding on to spatulas. 19. With Proper precautions in place. It is safe to perform a skin service on a client who comes in with a or an blank. 19, a cold. All right. With proper precautions in place, it's safe to perform a skin service on a client who comes in with a cold. That means when we say proper precautions in place and your client has a cold, can anyone unmute and tell me what do I need to put on? What's the precautions in place? The client has a cold.
Mask and gloves.
Yeah, mask and
Nope.
gloves.
I was surprised by this one.
Yeah, because they also call cold communicable
Hmm.
disease. And with
Mm,
here's the
right.
thing with Tennessee. Tennessee, that's what Tennessee classifies. And so
Yeah.
my lady here will be on testing is coming from the textbook. So I see what you're talking about. I saw the same thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
19 will still be A. We have to think as the textbook,
Right.
but we know what the law says for Tennessee, and we can't even service them with a call.
Yeah.
20. Thank you, Amber. Um, what should you do if a tool or implement is dropped on the floor during a service? What are we doing? Okay. D, either replace or disinfect it prior to continuing the service. Okay. Replace or disinfect. All right. So here's the thing, we cannot pick it up and go back to work.
Hmm.
Okay. Cannot pick it up and go back to work. We need to have a replacement. Okay. Um, or disinfect it prior to service, to continuing the service. So if that's the only one we have, we got to pick it up. We're going to have to go through the cleaning process. Then go through the cleaning process is soap and water. Then we have to disinfect it, which means let it sit in the disinfectant for no longer than 10 minutes. Take it out, rinse it, dry it, and go back to use. Okay, that's going to be our procedure. It's never going to change. 21. Which of the following is true, keyword true, of how a beauty professional's appearance, clothing, and other attire should look? 21. Which of the following is true of how beauty professionals' appearance, clothing, and other attire should look? Is it A, clothing should be loose and baggy? Long hair can be worn loose and free. Necklaces and other jewelry can be long and dangly. Or D, watches should be waterproof and shock absorbent. Okay. 21. What do y'all think?
It's D.
Correct. That answer is D. Okay. Get you some waterproof watches. All right. Everything else, of course, we're not going to look loose and baggy.
Right.
We're not going to let our long hair just hang down because we don't want it to touch the client. We don't want our braids in the client's face. And necklaces, we don't want that dangling all on the client's face and the body. So what fits us is making sure our watches are waterproof and shock absorbent. Okay. 22. When assisting a client into or out of a hydraulic chair, all right, you are going to always lower the chair to its lowest level. That's going to be the answer. A, bring the chair all the way down for them to get in and all the way down for them to get out. Okay. 23. It says Jasmine's manager has pointed out that there might be mold forming in one of the bathrooms. He has requested that Jasmine mix a solution that will destroy the mold. Which of the following will be most effective in doing this? Okay. Destroying a mold. Okay. Will it be a bactericidal, a virucidal, a fungicidal, or a sporicidal? All right. 23. Okay. First, you'll need to know what category does the mold sit in. Mold is a fungus. Okay. So 23 is going to be C. It can be tricky. Sporicidal is not a thing, but it comes from the word spore that they're trying to build on. A spore is associated with sterilization. All right. Sterilization, boiling of an object, kills the root of the bacteria. It kills the primary growth.
I go buy my cameras.
Let's make sure we're on mute. Okay. So fungicidal is associated with molds. So you want to get rid of molds, you're going to need a fungicide. All right. 24. Tony has been working hard to reduce not only his risk of infection and disease, but also the risk for all of his coworkers. Which of the following would be the least effective measure for Tony to take? The least effective. Okay. Is it thorough and regular hand washing, regular cleaning and disinfecting of tools and equipment, strict adherence to a policy of turning away sick clients, or consistent practice of only brief handshaking with clients? It's the least he can do. Okay. 24. Okay. Which of the following would be the least effective measure for Tony to take? All right. Consistent practice of only brief handshaking with clients. That's, let me tell you, what he needs to do is wash his hands. What he needs to do is clean the equipment. What he needs to do is say, we won't take sick people. All right. But what he's doing is consistent practice of only a brief handshaking with clients. The length of the handshake does not determine if you get more germs or not. All right. So what he should be doing is the least will be D. 25. Omar has asked his client to please sit and wait while he tends to one of his tools. He didn't want to alarm the client, but he noticed that there was a small amount of blood on the tool from a cut on his finger. Which of the following is true of Omar's implement? It's contaminated, it's diagnosed, it's parasitic, or it's contagious? 25. The answer is A. It's contaminated. Blood is on the tool. Okay. Bacteria from him is on the tool. It's dirty. It's contaminated. 26. Angie has just noticed that the nippers she will need to use on her client have a small amount of blood on them. What would Angie need to do to be able to use the nippers again? 26 is B. She must decontaminate them. If she wants to use those nippers again, she needs to clean them, which means remove the dirt of bacteria. Okay. So 26 is going to be B. 27. Ingrid's clients have been experiencing inflammation and pain on certain parts of their skin and bodies. Ingrid mentioned this to her manager, Roberta, who began to investigate the problem. Roberta has determined that these complaints are most likely the result of biofilms because she believes biofilms are the problem. Which of the following is most likely the source of the contamination? Is it Ingrid's treatment table, her foot spa, her lancets, or the heat vent above Ingrid's workstation? In order for you to know the problem, you got to go back and find out the details in the question. They have been experiencing inflammation, so that's redness, and pain on certain parts of their skin and bodies. Okay? Which one on their skin and bodies? Ingrid mentioned this to her manager. All right, they started to do an investigation. Is it Ingrid's treatment table, her foot spa, her lancets, or the vent above Ingrid's workstation? Okay. Redness and pain. 9 times out of 10 is going to be her foot spa. Let's look at, yep, 27 as B. Okay. 27 as B, a foot spa. 28, Harold's business requires a strict adherences to proper infection control. He knows that achieving effective infection control is a two-step process. Which of the following two steps is Harold likely to use for the majority of his business? Is it cleaning and sanitizing, cleaning and disinfecting, disinfecting and sanitizing, or sanitizing and sterilizing? Okay. Whatever you choose, this is what you're also going to be doing in your salon or spa. So number 28, what two is Harold going to use? Okay. What two is he going to use? It's a strict adherence to proper infection control. So that tells me he needs something stronger. Okay. So 28 is,
disinfecting.
is it B or C? Most of the time and all the time, I'm going to say it's going to be B. Because remember I said even with the tools from the questions we had above, you're going to clean them off with soap and water, and then you're going to disinfect. So 28 is going to be B. Most of the time, we are going to use the two-step process of cleaning and disinfecting. Okay, cleaning and disinfecting. 29. Who do we have on? Let me get Amber 29, India 30, and Duchess 31. All right. 29, 30, and 31. I'm going to go to it. Okay. 29, 30, and 31. So let's read that. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes. 7:17. We'll be back at 7:19. Okay. 29, 30, and 31.
Listen, I messed up some. I can't even see. Let me see.
You can't
Now,
see?
I did something to the screen. Let me see. How can I fix it?
You had 29?
Yeah, I had 29. What does it say?
I'm going to text it to you.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Number 29. It says, Jameson, a beauty pro, knows the importance of washing hands. He knows that proper hand washing helps greatly to prevent the spread of germs. And because Jameson blanked, it is clear that he is aware of the true benefit of hand washing. Is it A, rub his hands together aggressively, creating great friction? B, exclusively uses antibacterial soaps and hand sanitizers? C, washes his hands at least once per day? Or D, uses only intensely hot water? Who had 29 and what do you say?
I had 29. Amber. I'm gonna go with B. I know C and D is eliminated, so it's either A or B.
Okay, let's go back and look at it. It says Jameson, a beauty pro, knows the importance of washing hands. He knows that proper hand washing helps greatly to prevent the spread of germs. Okay, and because Jameson, let's plug it in. A, rubs his hands together aggressively, creating great friction. It is clear that he is aware of true benefit of hand washing. Or B, and because Jameson exclusively uses antibacterial soaps and hand sanitizers, it is clear that he is aware of the true benefit of hand washing. Is it A or B?
I'm gonna go with B.
Okay. 29 is
It just makes
A.
sense. Oh, it's A.
29 is A, and you can find that under employ the principles of prevention. Okay. It's gonna be chapter 5 under that objective.
Okay.
Because he rubs his hands together aggressively, creating great friction. I guess they would think rubbing their hands together and friction while he's washing his hands is getting the dirt and stuff like that off. Okay. More of it. Number 30. Who had 30?
I did. India.
Hey, India. It says Raphael is midway through a service when he notices that his client Jasmine has a small, fresh cut. After stopping the service, what is the very next thing Raphael should do?
Well, I think Raphael should pat the injured area dry with a clean, proper towel. And I say that because if the client is bleeding, then you're going to apply pressure to it, and then you will tell the client that they have a cut.
Okay. Actually, they want you to do the opposite.
They want me to tell the client first?
Yep.
Oh
they
my.
want you to say, hey, you got a cut, then start your process. So 30 is D. Inform Jasmine what has happened. Okay. And you'll find it chapter 5 under the standard precautions to protect yourself and your clients.
All right.
30 is D. I'm telling you, that's why we gotta read through it and work out a little bit, because I would have thought going straight into cleaning as well. 31. Okay, Miss Dallas. Sophia has worked at her current place of employment for nearly 10 years. As a veteran of the industry, Sophia feels as though she does everything exactly as it should be done. For example, she wears comfortable but professional clothing, always makes sure her hair is tied back and out of the way, abstains from wearing any long or dangly jewelry, and always makes sure her cell phone is placed securely on her workstation and on vibrate. What, if anything, is Sophia doing incorrectly? What do you say?
Well, it sounds as if she's doing everything correctly, but I would recommend that Sophia's cell phone should be placed out of sight. So I'm gonna go with B.
You said B?
Yes, ma'am.
You're correct. You're correct. That cell phone should be stored out of sight. Okay. 31 is B. It's bacteria. How, and this is just logically, we will touch that phone and go back to our clients. Okay. So that's it. I'm gonna do 32, 33. It says Walter is your coworker and is a bit confused as to what type of level of infection control he must employ in cleaning tools, as he has been asked to do by your manager, Carlos. Walter tells you, I have no idea what to do. Carlos told me to clean these tools and then make sure I use the highest level of infection control so that I completely destroy everything. That's going to be key. As Walter's coworker, what level of infection control should you recommend that he use and why? And in that little story, we did all that talking, okay? And he has no idea what to use, but he says his boss said he has to use the highest level of infection control to completely destroy everything. All right, that's going to be our STEM. That's going to give us close to our answer. Let's look at the levels of infection control. You got cleaning, you got sanitation, you got disinfection, and you got sterilization. All right, keep those in mind. Walter should clean the tools with soap and water because they will remove all visible dirt. That's cleaning, y'all. Number 2, Walter should sanitize the tools because that will greatly reduce the number of disease-causing bacteria. That's sanitation. Y'all see where we're going? The key word is actually in it. C, Walter should disinfect the tools because they will destroy all harmful organisms. That's disinfection. D, Walter should sterilize the tools because that will destroy all microbial life. What do you guys think? A, B, C, or D?
C.
Remember, he has to completely destroy everything.
D.
A.
D.
How many of you guys said D?
I say D.
Okay, yeah, D is correct. Walter should sterilize the tools because that will destroy all microbial life. Microbial bacteria, microorganisms, germs, all of those are the same words. Okay, remember, he has to destroy everything. And then here at D, because it'll destroy all microbial life. Okay, that's bacteria, that's germs, all microorganisms. And honestly, if you guys see this again, A, when it says clean, Walter should clean, Walter should sanitize, Walter should disinfect, Walter should sterilize, it's telling you what this is going to do. So the levels of infection control, cleaning is going to be the weakest, then comes sanitation, then comes disinfection, then comes sterilization, which is the strongest. So 32 is D. 33, you are watching your fellow student Victoria working with a client. In the 10 minutes you watch her for, she removes her gloves only once to quickly turn on the faucet and rinse her hands. After rinsing her hands, she immediately puts another pair of gloves on. Is it true that Victoria, client, is asymptomatic with a sickness immediately? Let me see. Is it true Victoria's client is asymptomatic with a sickness that is not airborne? And is it also true that Victoria acquired a cold during those 10 minutes she watched her? Then what else must also be true? So it's a lot of wording. What they're simply saying in that 10 minutes, okay? In that 10 minutes, and remember, she's doing a client and she took off the gloves. They said if it is true that Victoria's client is asymptomatic, which means she can have a cold but no symptoms. She can have something going on with her but no symptoms, with a sickness that is not airborne. All right, so it's not in the air. And it is also true that Victoria acquired a cold during those 10 minutes you watched her. Then what else must also be true? Victoria caught the cold through indirect transmission. She caught the cold through direct transmission. She caught the cold via a respiratory droplet, or Victoria's cold was not transmitted to her at all. We had a question earlier, 2 questions about direct and indirect transmission. Can y'all tell me what's another word I use for transmission? Starts with a T. Remember transfer? Direct can go right to a person, person to person. Indirect, it transferred, but I caught it through something that they touched or something in the air. All right?
So it's indirect transmission.
33 is indirect transmission. You're right. 33 is A. Okay. This could be one, y'all, that could really you're like, I don't understand it. You get stumped, but you just have to go back and read it. It can be a lot of words up front, but the last 2 like sentences are gonna tell you exactly what the answer is looking for. Okay. The girl got a cold, and you never knew she had a cold, but she was breathing. Okay. And it says not that's not airborne. She got the cold. The girl could have touched something. Towels, cape, she's touching her face. From that face, Victoria could have did something else, could have touched her own self. And so 33 is A, indirect transmission. Let's look at 34 and we'll go straight. We'll read and go straight to the answers. Charles prides himself on taking extra precautions not to get sick while at work. This past week, there was a disease passing through his workplace. Charles, being overly cautious, made sure he wore gloves all week. He never once touched a surface or another person without the gloves on. He also never put his hands to his mouth, eyes, or nose while wearing the gloves. And just to be extra careful, Charles immediately washed his hands after he took the gloves off. Even with all of these precautions, Charles still came down with the disease. How is it possible that Charles got sick?
Airborne.
Yep, airborne. The disease was airborne. 34 is B. Correct. 35. It is the end of the workday, and Juanita is about to begin disinfecting all of the implements she has used throughout the day. Just before she submerges the implements in a disinfectant. However, her boss, Julia, runs over to stop her. Juanita, Julia says, you cannot disinfect those implements. Assuming Julia is right, which of the following will explain her outburst? Juanita is not licensed to disinfect her implements. Juanita's implements are fairly new, so they don't need disinfectant. Juanita had not cleaned any of the implements she was about to disinfect, or Juanita's implements have been used on several clients during the day who were suffering from colds. Y'all make it make sense. 35 is what? A, B, C, or D?
C.
She should have cleaned
it. Exactly. Remember we had a question said 2-step process, right?
Right.
Cleaning and disinfecting. You're right. So first she needed to soap and water, then put the implements in the solution. Y'all so smart. 36. Elena has always had disinfectant safety tips posted in the back room of their business in clear view of all employees. The poster has 2 columns. As always, column, an always column, and a never column. Alana believes that each beauty pro knows full well what to always do and what to never do when it comes to handling and working with disinfectants. One of Alana's best professionals, however, has pointed out that a statement in one of the columns should actually be in the other column. If this beauty pro is correct, which of the following is the mistake that Alana made on the poster? Always keep the SDS on hand for the disinfectants you use. Always wear gloves and safety glasses. Never add disinfectant to water when diluting, or never place any disinfectant in an unmarked container. Okay? So if the beauty pro is correct, which of the following is the mistake that Alana made on the poster? 36 is C. Okay? 36 is C. Never add disinfectant to water when diluting. You add water to the disinfectant. 37. Justine, a business owner, is watching her newly hired beauty pro, Johan. As he works on a client, while Johan is in the middle of the treatment, he accidentally drops a tool that he was using on the floor. Immediately after that, Justine is forced to quickly yet discreetly walk over to Johan's station, to correct him before he makes an error in judgment. Which of the following did Justine most likely witness? Johan reaching into his drawer to replace the dropped piece of equipment with a disinfected one, stopping the service briefly to quickly disinfect the dropped tool, continuing the service facial with the drop tool, or removing on to different part of the service. Now she stopped what she was doing to rush over and stop him from doing something. He dropped something and he was about to pick it up. So she stopped him from doing what? Continuing the service facial with the drop tool. So he probably was going to pick it up and then go back to work. All right. 37 is C. 38. What is the primary source of skin disorders? Okay. What is the primary source of skin disorders? Neither internal nor external factors. Only external, only internal, or both internal and external factors can cause skin disorders. 38 is what?
D.
Correct. 38 is D. All right. Let's do Dallas 39, India 40, and 41, Amber. Amber, I'm going to take a pic and send it over to you, and we got 2 minutes to do this.
Thank you.
It's all good.
Yeah.
All right, 2 minutes, guys. Dallas, India, and then Amber.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You got 2 minutes.
Okay. I'll come back in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
okay,
I want you to.
Okay.
Yeah, well, a minute and a half now. Okay. All right, we're back. 39. It says whiteheads are a condition also known as boom.
Close. Hold on. What's the word? Close. Comedones.
Comedones.
Mm-hmm. So
Mm.
it's A.
All right. A is correct. Whiteheads are a condition also known as closed comedones. All right. Closed comedones are whiteheads. That means open comedones are probably what, Dallas?
Blackheads.
You go, girl. You go, girl. Correct. Okay, 40.
Okay, 40. Erythema
Uh-huh.
is a condition defined by rashes caused by inflammation,
Correct.
redness
Yeah,
caused by inflammation.
correct. So 40 is D. Go ahead, Miss India. And 41. Amber, did you get to see it?
I still can't see it.
Okay.
I sent you a video. I mean, not a video, but I sent you a picture. I was like, I cannot see it.
Okay. 41. Which of the following has an internal effect on the skin? Photosensitivity to the sun, lack of exercise, environmental exposure to pollutants, or misuse of products? Which of the following has an internal effect on the skin? Photosensitivity to the sun, lack of exercise, environmental exposure to pollutants, or misuse of products?
So I'm gonna say C. It's either A or C.
Okay, it's neither.
Oh,
41. Let me just look at the question. Which of the following has an internal effect? Most of these here have an external effect. Photosensitivity to the sun is sunburn, so that it's gonna affect the skin on the outside.
so lack of
Environmental,
exercise.
yeah, environmental exposure to pollutants that sits on top of the skin on the outside.
Right.
And the misuse of products is going to affect the skin on the outside. And so lack of exercise is going to be the one thing that affects the skin on the inside. 41 internal, which is correct, it's B, but it gives a good note for you guys to tell your clients that exercise is important, because even if you have them doing facial exercises, y'all, because if they don't exercise those muscles around the mouth, if they don't exercise and practice smiling, then those muscles are gonna sag. Their skin is gonna sag. So they should be doing exercises in their muscles all over their body to keep everything tight and in place. 42. I got 42, 43, and 44. Amber, I'm gonna start y'all back off at 45. So 42, fluid, infection, or any other matter encapsulated in a firm mass under the skin is, let me see.
A cyst.
A cyst, a pustule, a papule, or rosacea. Yes, fluid. Infection. You're correct. 42 is a cyst. Okay. A firm mass under the skin. Firm mass under the skin. So we're not talking about papule, pustule that falls in the papule falls into boil category, and pustule into pimple category. It's definitely not rosacea. So 42 is A. All right, 43. What term is best described as a discoloration from melanin production due to sun, or other factors. We're looking for a term that is best described as a discoloration from melanin production. Okay? Discoloration from melanin production due to sun or other factors.
Is it
43.
keratosis?
B.
B.
Hyperpigmentation.
Hyper. There we go. That's what I wanted y'all to get. Term described as a discoloration from melanin production. So hyperpigmentation is a lot of melanin production, okay, due to the sun or other factors. And so hyperpigmentation. Milia flows into the category of blackhead, whitehead, closed comedones, open comedones, pimples. That flows into that category. Milia is like closed comedone, whitehead underneath the skin, but you can kind of see the whitehead underneath the skin, and it's just hasn't got to a point where it has came to the surface where you can extract it out. But you can go ahead and, you know, soften the skin, get the heat together, and do some little surgery work and get it out. But a lot of times that's what milia is. So milia has nothing to do with hyperpigmentation. Keratosis falls into production of keratin. So this is where someone may have like a thickening of the skin, leather texture, or a lot of dead skin cells. And the dark spots on the cheeks could come from this instead of hyperpigmentation. And we are going to go with the term hyperpigmentation. That is the term that's best described as a discoloration from the production of melanin, right? So 43 is B. I know y'all be like, Ms. Cost got to do all of this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, 43. We got that. 44. What is a pustule? Look at the root word, pustule. What is a pustule? 44. Okay. A raised lesion, an infected papule with fluid inside, a hardened collection of oil, a sebaceous breakout. Okay. Now, pustule, papule, same category. A papule would be a hard pimple. A pustule would be an infected hard pimple. Okay, it has pus in it. 44 is going to be, drum roll please, B.
B.
Yes, 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 yes. A sebaceous breakout. Sebaceous and sebum oil, they left off the word gland. So that they put something in there to throw y'all off, okay? A hardened collection of oil is going to be, it's like a little sac in the follicle, okay? That's just overproduction of oil. It's nothing that, there's not a term for a hardened collection of oil, whether it's inside or outside of the skin. 45, the lightest skin is Fitzpatrick skin type, 0, 1, 6, or 8.
P.
You said B?
I say B.
You are
Yes.
absolutely
B.
correct. Yes, 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 yes. Y'all are absolutely correct. Fitzpatrick skin starts at 1. All right, starts at 1. 46. When treating Fitzpatrick skin types 5 and 6. All right, 5 and 6, y'all, is light or dark?
Dark.
Dark.
Yeah.
Dark.
When treating, you're correct. When treating Fitzpatrick skin types 5 and 6, the skin tends to be extremely dry. The skin tends to be thin. difficult to determine adverse reactions, or the skin does not react well to deep pore cleansing. Okay. When treating Fitzpatrick skin types 5 and 6, and we know 5 and 6 has more melanin. Okay. Most of the time, as melanin is produced, someone has more melanin, you may find them with more
Adverse reaction.
larger pores. Okay. The skin tends to be extremely dry. No.
It's gonna be D.
C.
It is C.
C?
It is C.
Okay.
Okay. And here's the thing, it falls into treating skin of color. So it may fall into what Milady says about colored skin. It's difficult to determine adverse reactions. And what they're mainly saying, they don't know, you can never know what their skin may do. That's what they're saying. It's difficult to determine how something is going to react on the skin. All because it's darker. That's what Milady says. That's why that is something I'm fighting for the next publication, is to talk more about people of color. So Milady's definition is C. It's difficult to determine adverse reaction on skin types 5 and 6. It hadn't been studied, but they just say.
Yeah, I was thinking, because most products are made for Fitzpatrick 1 through,
come on
like
with it.
our white clients.
Yes, come on with it. That lighter skin. And even in skincare, when we talk about skin, people say skin is skin, but skin has a type.
Right.
And I like to talk about, I don't call race, but I'm gonna call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And 1, 2, 3, 1 to 3, and skin that's extremely dry. Remember 1 and 2, and a little bit of 3. 1, you're looking at Ireland, Netherlands. 2, you're looking at London, Europe. All right. It's closer to the North Pole. Fact check, closer to the North Pole. And so those individuals will experience or customize to drier and colder weather. So yes, their skin can be extremely dry and pale and thin. Okay. And so for us, as you get closer to the equator where it's darker, I think it's just a parenthesis. They don't know what to say. So they just say it's difficult to determine adverse reactions. And even if you go to trade shows, I know India is on here. We went to San Antonio.
Yes.
And did you see a lot of Fitzpatrick 5 and 6?
Yes, because we're talking about well, I don't.
It was warmer.
Yeah, it was warmer. Yes.
Yeah, it was a huge Hispanic
yes
audience, and so their skin types were 4, 5, and 6. So and some of the companies, and even when I went to Orlando in June, I was telling them I'm still not getting, even from the big companies, they're giving us great information about skin, and then they're trying to sell us products, but they're not addressing the huge growth of Fitzpatrick 4, 5, and 6 that use professional skincare, who have now become professionals in the skin industry. So it's still a gap. And so they just say it's hard for us to tell you how it's gonna react to their skin because they ain't never done no test on. So that's the best answer my lady can come up with. 46 is C, but that's why y'all got to get licensed, and we got to keep doing the work. And we doing the work to what they can definitely get it done. I do have a celebration. I have a student today that passed her theory. So we got another one. Passed her theory.
Oh,
Yeah,
congratulations.
I know. And
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
she was a great student and she passed. And I'm super excited for her.
Right.
We're just gonna keep it moving. Okay, 47. And we're gonna close this out, but you guys are doing good. You can jump in if you want to. 47. What is contraindicated by skin thinning medications such as Differin and Renova? What is contraindicated? And contraindications just really makes us side eye the services. I have a doubt. Okay. Contraindications. If you find something, I probably shouldn't do this. I probably, I can't do it. So 47, what is contraindicated by skin thinning medications? What can we not do? 47.
All treatment.
Is it massage? Is it
Uh,
moisturizers? Is it waxing or all treatments?
I
we
know
can
it's
do moisturize.
wax,
You can use moisturizer.
so it
All
would
right.
be waxing.
You are right.
Waxing.
Yeah.
Waxing is correct. You guys are absolutely right. Yeah, you can moisturize the skin, but it says skin thinning medications. All right.
Right.
So a person may be working on acne, wrinkles, something, hyperpigmentation, just something going on with the skin, and they're using these two, one or the other, you know? And as you use it, it may improve your condition, but it also will thin the skin, and you're having to eliminate waxing. Because I can put that strip on there and off comes the skin. All right, so 47 is C. 48. What is contraindicated for clients who are allergic to aspirin? Is it electrical treatment, waxing, salicylic acid, or exfoliation? Okay. Allergic to aspirin. It is going to be salicylic acid. Okay. Because of active ingredients in them both. They counteract what the issue is and can cause the skin to have a sensation. Okay. And we want to say that instead of saying burning. All right. And so salicylic acid is popular because it's used for acne. All right. So if someone is taking aspirin but has to take an aspirin per day, based on what's going on with their, heart health and things of that nature, then when it comes to you treating their acne or, rejuvenating their skin, you're not going to be able to use that particular acid, or probably not anything in that category. Okay. 48. What is true of consent before treatment? Is it consent may be given orally? Written consent is only advisable for the first treatment. If a client is uncomfortable signing a legal document, consent can be waived. Really? Or a client's written acknowledgement of consent is necessary and recommended before every treatment. 49 is, yes, D. Y'all, when they come in, client consultation, sign consent. Every time after that, you may ask them, has anything changed? They may say no. All right, on the back of that form, sign date. Okay, that's it. 50. An esthetician should ask about a client's lifestyle and describe any observations about the skin's appearance. Okay, so we're talking client consultation, we're talking skin analysis. All right, so 50. An esthetician should ask about a client's lifestyle and describe any observations about the skin's appearance. Is it A, after examining the skin with a magnifying lamp and before determining skin type? B, before putting on eye pads and after touching the skin? Or C, after applying toner and before touching the skin? Or D, before applying toner and after touching the skin? You're going to ask about a client's lifestyle and describe any observations about the skin's appearance. Now, before applying a toner is just like something quick that you'll put over the skin, like removing makeup. All right. So you can really see what's going on with the skin. Then you will start touching the skin, asking questions, things
Is
like
it
that.
A?
50 is actually going to be D. Okay. Before applying a toner in facials is considered like balancing the skin, but also toner in some facials is considered that first step in removing makeup. Micellar water, makeup remover, they may use toner to remove eyeshadow and things like that to get the skin as remove all the oils off the skin so you can really see what's going on with the skin. So 50 is D. Okay.
I'm glad we went over that because I would have said A and I would have been wrong.
So
Yeah.
actually what we really are saying is that you're supposed to be able to see what's going on with the skin before you even when you first
Yep.
approach the client.
Yeah.
So yeah, so kind of you're like as you're talking to them or they're doing their intake or whatever, you're supposed to be examining what's going on with their skin then.
Right.
Exactly. And if you look at A after examining the skin, you talking to them, that means they come in and you've done nothing but sit them straight down. And so yes, before you do anything, they have the consultation and then skin analysis. The consultation is the conversation, but the skin analysis is you training your eye, and your eye is picking up stuff as you're talking. Has that happened to anybody before? Does that, well, y'all been here long enough. Does that happen to you where you're just somewhere and you're talking to somebody and you're just looking at their skin?
I hate
Yes.
that. I
Yes.
hate that. Now that I'm in the industry, that's all I do. Like when I'm talking to people, I'm like, oh, she need a facial. And I be feeling so bad, like, oh my God. I can't help it. Like I'm just watching skin like all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. I go
Well,
to the nose, y'all. I go to the nose, the
Oh
sides
my
of the
goodness.
nose. I'm like, ooh,
The nose really be congested.
Oh,
yeah. That's my thing. I try not to be looking at the then they be like,
I
oh,
don't
I'm gonna get
know.
that done. I'm gonna get that done. I was like, wow.
Oh, I try not to say anything. Or I be like, girl, you should come see me.
Right.
Right, right. So yeah, let's train our eye. And let me tell you how I trained my eye with hair color and hair. I would go to the grocery store, and every time I was in the grocery store or in a line behind somebody, I would say, Destiny, what color that is, what level that is. Just like Fitzpatrick scale, we have hair levels. I would say, what level that is. Okay, how do we fix whatever's going on here? So, what's the problem and how do we fix it? That was my way of training myself until I got really sharp. And that's another reason why I'm a solutionist. So now think about I'm seeing skin, so I'm like, what level is there? What level, what Fitzpatrick is that person? What skin type is that person? Because I'm noticing every little thing I wouldn't have noticed 20 years ago. And I'm listening to them, especially if they have accents. Where are you from? Is that where your mom's from? I mean, I'm just nosy Rosie. If you're gonna talk to me, I'm gonna ask questions, and that kind of gives me a heads up about what's going on. Even though makeup may be covering something up, you can see stuff past makeup. Um, and so I'm just that's what I do to train myself. Anybody I walk into or run into, I do ask about skin regimens. So what's your family doing? You got a 16-year-old son. I get so excited when they say they got a son to play football because that's going to be my client. Either you're going to buy the products or you're going to bring them in for a service. My client who went to Austin P, but he got signed in El Paso, he may not be getting services, but I'm making sure I need to make sure this week that he has his package for his skincare to keep up his skincare. And so, still a client, And I'm noticing he went to a different climate, so something else should be going on with his skin, so on and so on. So I'm still treating him. I'm still there for him. And that's just me making sure, hey, what's going on with your skin now that you're in another environment? You know, you're right there, you almost crossed the border at Mexico. So that's a different type of temperature. Okay. And he already told me it's a different type of workout. So I'm knowing I need to make sure he has something that's going to get rid of that oily congestedness in his skin, period. And so that's just what we got going on. That's us. So we've done that one. To go back to, let's see where we're going to go. The next study guide is going to come from. So hold on one moment. Okay, the next study guide is going to come from. Okay, what do you guys want? Do you want more skin analysis, and or you want skin care and makeup? I do more skin analysis. You guys didn't get skin analysis till we got to the end. I thought that study guide was a lot of infection control. So do you want, you can add one more thing with skin analysis: skincare, makeup, hair removal, advanced treatments, advanced topics. What y'all think?
Oh, I have a question.
Okay, let me get the question.
Okay. The hair removal. Will we be able to use the laser machine to remove hair, or we have to be certified in that, or we have to have like we must be a nurse or something?
Okay, so you were on. I'm gonna answer that question in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Have a great time. Okay. Love you. Now my niece going away for the weekend.
No.
I just told him you're going away for the weekend. You be good. Okay. Okay. When you come back. All right then. Okay. So after I make this exam, then we're gonna answer that question. Okay, Dallas?
Okay.
Okay, Miss India, I heard you give a recommendation. You want skin analysis and what else?
Advanced.
Advanced chemical
Yeah.
peel microdermabrasion, electrotherapy.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay. So you guys we're gonna create our next one. Give me one moment and I'm gonna create it.
I want to do skincare and advanced treatments.
That's what I thought, Amber.
I can add some skincare in there. Are we still doing
Okay,
50?
great.
We still doing 50?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on one moment, y'all.
All right. Dallas, what you win from the webinar?
Huh?
What you
I
win
won
from?
something.
Yep.
I didn't
You
know
won
that.
something. You won I forgot. It was something though.
I thought I stayed the entire time. How did I miss it?
I don't know. But I know Sonny won $750.
Oh,
I told her congratulations.
I know. What did I
Right. I
miss?
said I'm gonna have to be on that webinar.
Oh my God, I gotta go on
Awesome.
my email. Let me check.
Yep.
I did not know I won something. I'm
Yep. It's in the
excited.
window.
I hope it's $750.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
can
I
use
said,
that.
wow, it's two people won from DCI.
Oh, stop playing with us.
Right.
That's crazy. And you don't remember what I
Three
won?
people. Three people.
It was, I'm not sure.
Ashley won. She a day student. She won $750.
What
Oh,
did I
see, Sonny
win?
did too.
I'm trying to find out. I'm in my email.
You know, I think they said they will contact you
Oh,
because
okay.
Ashley sent me a screenshot. Soon as it was over, they sent her something that said she
Mhm.
won. And
Oh, okay.
it really is a cool idea. It's 750 off of a course, a certification.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So if their course is 2,500 or the course 1989, you get 750 off.
Oh,
Mm.
okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
Oh, okay.
So hold on. Or if you're local, you can come in and get those services if you want a service. All right.
Dallas, I think it was either like Botox or tattoo remover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going through my email right now. I'm trying to see. Let's see. I cannot believe I missed it. And I was
Hmm.
on there the whole time.
Yep.
All right, y'all. This one includes skincare, advanced topics, and skin analysis. Because I just feel like a little bit more, and I think some people miss some easy stuff when it comes to skin analysis. So I just made sure you do that. I did increase the number because the it came up 240 questions. So I pulled 75 out. All right. And so this study guide, State Board Prep 2, facials, advanced topics, and skin analysis is 75 questions. All right. Um, of course, I will email over to you individually, and I'll also post in the group. Let's look at just a few questions. Is what is the primary source of skin disorders? Redness and distended capillaries causing eye weakening. This is a good one. Excess oil production that causes redness. Yeah, this is a good one. All right. So what I want you to do, I know it's Friday. Let's start going over this. I'm gonna see if I could build this up with a Kahoots too. But Monday we're gonna jump in and we're gonna get the road. Okay. So let's build this up. Let me try to do what I do. Okay. State board prep 2. We have facials. Okay. Okay, hold on one moment. We're about to prepare to close out. Let me go over to here. Files, upload. All right, I got India. We had to go. I don't know why Amber don't pop up. I'm gonna find you. Don't worry about it, Amber.
Okay.
And see, did you send it to me yesterday?
My email.
Other
My
day?
email not popping up. I'm not sure.
Give me
But
the
you talking
first.
about yeah.
Yeah, your email. The first 2 letters.
AY.
Right. Never would have thought of. Okay.
My
Uh,
son, Aiden. AY.
I
DEN.
got it now. Okay. All right. It's emailed over to y'all and it's in the group. Go back to us talking about laser. I wanted to see what y'all thought about that. Now they're gonna be in what he showed y'all. When they go to trade shows, they do big classes, and so they're from the Dallas Fort Worth area. So they're going to be at the Dallas show in May 18th and 19th. I'm going by any means necessary because I need a break. I'm trying to position people in place now to take care of mom, but he's there, his business is there, and they teach all the advanced stuff. You know, they're in Texas, so they can do that. They don't really venture out. They have partner schools, and we partner with them as well. And Miss Candace is assigned to us. When it comes to Tennessee and lasering, you definitely got to have the certification. And so they will prefer you to have a national certification. On top of the national certification, it needs to be in under the med spa, which means if you're doing things like injections, you probably have a nurse practitioner or a nurse that's there full time, and you probably have a doctor who is leasing his name out or likeness or like license on the wall if the doctor is not actually in the office. Okay. And so since we fall into that category, they have to sign off that you have been trained, and you will only be able to do it at that facility. And that's how that works here, because number one, you can't really do injections unless you're a nurse or a doctor. And really they want to do the Botox, they still want the doctor's licensure, his information on the wall. And so to trust you, he needs to be the one to supervise and make sure you know what you're doing. Okay. So he will probably be also over the education component to make sure that his people who are working under his name know what they're doing. That's Tennessee. It may be different in some other areas, and it is different in Texas. And I do know there's a doctor. He may have 3 or 4 med spas that he worked with. And what happens, those med spas may pay him to be their like director, and then everybody else comes in under them. But you got to make sure you have the insurance and you're covered. Even as a laser tech, you got to have insurance that you're covered. Doing the lasering here, I suggest build, 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 because it is far and few in between those positions. Once they find somebody that's good in a spa or med spa, those individuals usually don't move out of those positions. So a lot of Black and brown estheticians have had to start to build their own, because waiting around for a job opening in Memphis or Shelby County becomes too long. Okay. Hold on one moment. So that's the thing. If you want to do it, get your certification. Also link up with a medical professional, as I stated before, one of the two, or someone already has the med spa up. Get your credentials so you can go in blazing. And sometimes what's on paper supersedes someone that just know how to do skincare. And so you having an extra with the laser, and did he tell you, were y'all listening when he says how much a service costs? Were you listening to $600-$700 a laser?
Yeah, I actually on Instagram, like my algorithm is all spot stuff. And so I went and looked on some website of people who does the actual services, and they be charging like $800-$900 to laser, like the bikini area, underarm, facial. Yes, they make a lot of money.
And here's the thing too. They make a lot of money. They can do a whole lot. They ain't getting their hands messy. They're getting service. They got the certification, national certification. It's not a lot of people in Tennessee that got national certification. Let's just make that clear. Okay. You having a national certification makes your resume glow. Okay. They may have had a training with someone who does injections, or somebody who's just coming through town. They may have had that kind of training, but not a national certification. And Texas Laser Institute offers, once you get training from them, they also can put you into the national, like once they test, you can go into the national directory. Okay. And that's just like having a license, like top tier when it comes to lasering. Know your machines. Know your machines, because there's a lot of machines, and then a lot of times people try to go cheap, or they try to go overseas and get the ones from Alibaba, and you think they're the same ones, but the electricity or the technology inside is not the same. So you don't want that burning of someone's skin, that sensating, just like you don't want them to feel that irritation or you to make their skin worse. And this is another reason why you don't see a whole lot of us getting the lasering, because the group that knew how to do it, they didn't know how to do it on our skin, because what did the book say? You couldn't tell about how it was going to react to Fitzpatrick's 5 and 6. So they didn't know how melanated skin will react to the lasers. We know now that the basic lasers, photo IPLs, the darker the skin, the more, light patches that you could see. It could, cause some issues. Even if you say, I'm just removing the hair, well, it may break up the melanin and take a picture like a flash, and it breaks up that melanin in those areas. So that's another thing too. We're learning, but sometimes people feel like, oh, I can just go get that. That's easy. And you go with the wrong machine, and all your clientele is people of color. And now you either burning them or you're causing hypopigmentation. You're causing that beautiful skin that was one tone to break up in several tones. And it takes a while for that to come back together. So just make sure proper training and proper selection of the equipment is all, and certification is going to be top tier. I've had students to go to Texas for work, and she's actually wants to come here and do a certification. She just got to have a certain amount of people. So I really do hope we could get a certain amount of people that wants to do laser training, and it's about 3 days. And she always discounts our students. Whatever they say, she always gives our students a discount. Like, she's family. She's my sister from another mother. But we always, and we went through something, and guess who? And she went through something, I went through something. We've all been there for each other. So anything we say we need, and if it's Elvis week, we're gonna get it because she loved Elvis.
Okay.
So
me too. I love Elvis too.
Yeah. I mean, she loved Elvis down. So I like it because she loved it. She was telling me stuff I didn't know anything about, but she's a great resource. And so she's in our group too. I'm gonna pin her page so you can follow her, okay?
Okay.
And she dislikes people using things without proper training. And the number one thing is the micro needling and the lasers. That's like her key thing.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
It's
I
like
want to do service of micro needling and laser.
Yeah, she got you. So I'm gonna introduce you guys to her tonight. I just kind of pull her page and put her picture up and tag her, and y'all go follow her and just see when she's coming here, or just say, hey, Miss Cox, wanted me to introduce myself, or when you come into Memphis, or do you have any trainings? Dallas,
Right.
you travel, so when are you going to Dallas?
Right.
So you may be going to an area, but they have a lot going on. So for us, you want to go work somewhere, it's going to be you showing your face into going into some of these med spas or some of these places. And it may not be none available, but let them see that you're willing, and drop your resume off, and just stopping by. And you may think, oh, they ain't called me yet, but when something happens, they remember that lady that came, so sometimes, even though it's not many positions available in Memphis, that you need to really show your face and let them know, say, hey, I just want to drop my resume. I'm credentialed, I'm licensed, I'm nationally certified. I know how to use this and that. And they will grab you quicker than you're like, what? They will grab you, because that means less training they got to do. Some of those places are commissioned. So although
I wonder how that commission thing works, because I know that a lot. Just say, eventually I'll be opening up a spa, a salon here in South Haven, and I noticed, like, in the city, they work with commission. And just say if you are trying to create a brand, and your brand is to bring everybody that you hire under your name, versus people rent your space and then they all creating their own business within the space, which isn't a problem, but for the
It's a
aesthetics and
problem.
yeah, see, and that's the thing. I really want to be able to like create a contract where if they come and work for if they come into the spot that they're working for me and that if they I don't want to offend anybody or scare anybody off, but
Mm-mm.
I was what do
Can
you
I
think?
tell you,
Yes,
start out the
ma'am.
gate, if this is your format, go with it.
Hmm.
Everybody that
Okay.
wants to come work is not going to be your employee. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody that wants to come because they may not fit into your model, and it's okay.
Right.
What you're if you're looking for commission, look for models that are franchise.
Okay.
Okay, such as, and there's a young lady that runs a really good business, and she's modeled after a franchise.
Okay.
Um, um, Pretty Girls Get Wax. Is
Okay.
franchise. What's the other one that does wax? European Wax Center franchise.
Okay.
Um, I'm just calling those two out. And so what happens, and I've had people to come from Pretty Girls Get Wax, and I love how she does business. People may not understand it, but when you come work for her, you come work for the brand.
Okay.
So it's not an individual thing anymore, you know?
And
Um,
that's kind of what I want. I
yeah,
have a salon in South Haven, and it's a salon and spa, and I'll have a space to rent um for stylists, and then I have private rooms for esthetician, massage therapy